Hello, welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, CDB's Economics Director assesses Guyana's Sovereign Wealth Fund. GPEX 2018 opens today. And 30 benefit from microcosmetology course. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Daddy! And now for the details. The Caribbean Development Bank CDB's Director of Economics, Dr. Justin Ram, at the bank's annual press conference, spoke to InfoHub about the need to be prudent in Guyana's financial management of funds as it develops its oil and gas resources. Paul McAdam is in Barbados and filed this report.
CDB's Economic Director, Dr. Justin Ram, highlighted the importance of Guyana's Sovereign Wealth Fund in managing its finances attained from the oil and gas sector.
The revenues that are received from oil and gas can be windfall. There can be a lot of money coming from oil and gas. It is important that governments spend those monies wisely. What do I mean by that? That the resources that are coming from oil and gas should be used to build up other assets in the economy. That is to say, build up the human capital, ensure that the population is well educated, build up infrastructure so that that can support economic growth after the oil and gas has been depleted, and also to ensure that social capital, that fabric that keeps everyone together, is well maintained. Because after the oil and gas has been depleted, it is those assets that will be the mainstay of the economy.
It is important to avoid the pitfalls of the so-called Dutch disease as Guyana moves forward with the oil and gas sector, Dr. Ram added.
The Dutch disease is a phenomena, and I should say this was a phenomena that was first explored by an economist, a well-known economist called Dudley Sayers, when he looked at the mechanism of the open petroleum economy in neighboring Venezuela back in the 1950s. And what he discovered that when oil and gas revenues come into the government coffers, there's so much money that unions that are operating in the oil and gas sector lobby for higher wages. Those higher wages mean that there now is inflation in the economy, and then unions and workers in other parts of the economy start to lobby for even higher wages as well. What does that mean? Is that over time, other sectors of the economy become uncompetitive because they have higher costs because of wages. Yeah? So you really want to have a situation whereby the government is not spending all of the revenues coming from oil and gas, but in fact what we call sterilization of those resources by putting them in a sovereign wealth fund.
The CDB director explained that Guyana's oil and gas sector will benefit not only the country, but the entire region.
More energy could mean reduced energy costs for our economies. And as you know, energy costs for most of the region has been too high, and that has led to a negative impact on our overall levels of competitiveness. So I think that these new energy resources could be a bounty not only for Guyana, but for the entire region, to assist the region in becoming a lot more competitive through lower energy costs.
From St. Michael's, Barbados, at the CDB's headquarters, Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
The inaugural Guyana Petroleum Business Summit and Exhibition, GPEX 2018, opened today at the Marriott Hotel. Tiffany Rogers was there.
Over the next 3 days, local businesses will be interacting with some of the biggest names in the energy industry. Go Invest chair Patricia Bacchus is urging investors to maximize on the immense opportunities available in Guyana's emerging oil and gas industry.
I would urge all the participants to view the gaps in our economic activities not as shortcomings, but instead as opportunities. GPEX provides a forum through which the emerging oil and gas sector can be carefully explored with a view to determining the various economic opportunities along the value chain that are ripe for investment.
As Guyana continues its projection towards oil production in 2020, Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman is assuring that the country will not be known just for oil.
We don't want simply to be known as an oil-producing nation, but rather as a country that took its resources and revenues and used them to fashion and carve a nation that is geographically and strategically positioned to produce the food that is required and will be required for the 48 million people who are projected to inhabit the Caribbean by 2050.
ExxonMobil, Chevron, Schlumberger, Halliburton are some of the big-name energy companies that will be sharing their experiences and participating in exhibitions over the next 3 days. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire earlier today clarified that the backlog of cases has been reduced significantly from the reported 10,000. Details from Stacey Carmichael.
Definitely not 10,000 backlog cases. We have in the system about 4,500, 5,000 cases maximum. And when I say maximum, I'm including divorces, civil trial matters, full court matters. And I do not consider them to be backlog cases as such anymore. I would prefer to classify them as old rules cases.
The acting Chief Justice explained that the High Court is now operating under a system known as the Civil Procedures Rules, which was introduced on February 6, 2017. Therefore, cases filed prior to that date are being classified by Justice George Wiltshire as old rules matters.
Yes, there are a number of them that would be what we call live matters, in the sense that they are matters that will go to trial unless the parties decide to settle. But we also have a number of matters which require a judge to consider that have not been active. They're not active matters. They will not be matters that will be going to trial. But under the old rules, or old High Court rules, a judge must adjudicate.
She informed that there are approximately 1,500 matters before the court that require trials or a full hearing. The remaining, from estimation, will have to be passed through the court for those matters to be formally closed. According to the acting Chief Justice, the judges have been working assiduously to reduce the backlog and matters that come under the old High Court rules. Under the Civil Procedures Rules or New Rules system, there are fixed date and statement of claim matters. For 2017, 2,063 fixed date applications were filed, and of that amount, 1,452 were completed. 440 statement of claim matters were filed, of which 54 were completed. Thus far, for 2018, 214 fixed date applications were filed, with 95 completed, and 37 statement of claim matters filed and 4 completed. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Border Street rehabilitation works have commenced. Ronetta LaFleur was on site earlier today.
Much anticipated rehabilitation works on Border Street commenced today.
The project, which is a collaboration between the Ministry of Public Infrastructure and the Mayor and City Council, will see the street transformed into an asphaltic concrete structure. Clerk of Works at the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Shemroy Skeffers.
The work entitles placing and compacting a 4-inch crusher onto the existing surface, which entitles 2-inch asphaltic concrete finish surface.
The works, which are being undertaken by the Ministry's Special Projects Unit, should have been completed during 2017. Skeffers explained the reason for the delays.
Some of the delays were we were waiting on town council and so forth to get the drainage and stuff. Also the weather was part of that also. And we will be rehabilitating the whole stretch of the road from Regent Street to North Road.
Approximately $12 million is being expended on the project, which is expected to be completed by next week.
From Border Street, Georgetown, I am Ronetta LaFleur reporting for InfoHub.
InfoHub's Zanil Williams tells us that the first group of locally trained occupational therapists is advocating for more awareness and multi-sector collaboration for the profession.
4 therapists have commenced their work in 4 different areas in the medical field. They are calling for increased awareness of the profession and the need to have more interested persons trained.
In my 2 months working with adults, most of them are not aware of occupational therapy and the kind of therapy we do. One challenge I must mention is breaking cultural barriers with family members and the older adults.
I work with children. I'm at Tom Reed. And the thing is, while we were on attachment in schools, persons did not know about rehabilitation in general and more specifically occupational therapy.
The pioneers in this arena of medical therapy shared their experiences.
Occupational therapy, we use your everyday activities, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, whatever it is you do at work. Once your function is limited, we're here to assist and to help you adapt.
I would like persons to understand that just because you have a disability does not mean you are limited to opportunities. It means that the public, be it Guyana or internationally, need to open their eyes, open their doors, open their businesses to persons with disabilities.
The 4 therapists have graduated from a 4-year program at the University of Guyana, specifically obtaining Bachelor's of Science degree in Medical Rehabilitation and Occupational Therapy. Sunil Williams for InfoHub.
The Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA's Genetic Improvement Program continues to break barriers as it strives to improve productivity in swine and small ruminants. More in this report.
The Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, has acquired new boars for its Genetic Improvement Program. Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Nigel Cumberbatch, explained that the program has also been boosted with the assistance from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, with the acquisition of semen for small ruminants in 2017.
In 2017, we were able to acquire 2 tempo breeding boars, from which we are, in fact, collecting and processing semen. We have also enhanced our small ruminant genetic improvement program. We have 2 breeds of sheep and 2 breeds of goats that we are using for the extraction of semen. The breeds of sheep that we are using is the Katahdin, and as well as the Barbados Black Belly. And for the goats, we are extracting semen from the Boer, as well as the Nubian breed of goats.
Cumberbatch added that with the high demand made for the authority's artificial insemination and improved genetic services are heartening.
This program is a success, and in 2018 it will be extended even further. The demand and the requests that we are getting from farmers at this present time, we are unable to satisfy that request. But we're pleased with the way that program is functioning.
The GLDA is the agency responsible for monitoring and aiding the development of the country's livestock industry. Its services include advisory, research, and implementation of standards for the wholesome growth of the local industry. Information on its services is available by calling its office on telephone number 220-6556. Stefan Gabriel for InfoHub.
In our final report, 30 entrepreneurs will benefit from a 3-month micro-cosmetology course being facilitated by the Small Business Bureau. Crystal Stahl has that story.
The 3-month course, which will be conducted by American cosmetology consultant Rob Willis, was officially launched on Wednesday at the Generation Next building, Durban Street. He explained the nature of the micro-cosmetology course.
Cosmetology is a huge business, and that's what I'm here for, representing micro-cosmetology, which is a program developed where you take 1,500 hours in the States is what's required to have a license. And I've summarized and shortened it to 600 to customize it for Guyana. So there are people there that have experience, and then there are brand new people. But over the next 3 months, I'm going to change their lives.
Noting the overwhelming response to the course, Willis explained he is in the process of initiating an extended program and expressed some of his expectations.
I hope to create a foundation for the stylists, the estheticians, the manicurists, those people who make a living in the beauty industry, to be able to have a methodology that they can support. They've all had separate trainings on different levels of different times, but because of that, it's almost like this. There's no consistency in their training.
Willis further expressed that the aim is to create consistency in cosmetology in Guyana. As a result, a process has already begun in reviewing and adjusting the current cosmetology standards. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
Please be reminded to schedule an appointment for your annual eye examination, since routine visits to your optometrist can preserve your vision over the long term. Thanks for watching, and remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.